Welcome back to the YouTube series on optimizing Notesnook. In previous videos, we've discussed privacy, security, and open source in Notesnook. We've talked a little bit about the Notesnook website, and now today, with this video, we want to introduce the note-taking interface and how to take your first note. We'll discuss a little bit about how to share a note and even locking notes for even more security. So let's get started. You're now looking at my demo account of the Notesnook website. This is the web version, and this is a little bit of how the UX looks like, the user experience. If you will notice on the left-hand side, this is your navigation area, more or less your opening dashboard that you'll see every time. You have a notes area at the top. Underneath, we can create notebooks. We have a favorites section. We can include tags. Monographs is what I talked about in a previous video of how you share a note on the internet for someone to see, and we'll touch on that in a follow-up video. They have introduced a new section called reminders. It's still in beta, and once again, this will be discussed in a future video. And we have a trash area. Moving down, we have our settings. We also have a section here where you can toggle dark and light mode. What you see on the screen right now is the light mode. Click this, and now we have dark mode. So we'll go back to light mode for this video. Then underneath, we have a little bit about our account. We have when it was last synced. And then we have an area where you can report an issue to the developers. Middle section of the user experience here, we have our notes area. This is where the list of notes will be. We can move our cursor to this line here in the middle and we can pull it in, we can move it way out. I like to keep it about here because on the far right side, this is your full note area. So we don't want to take up too much of the note area. That way you can see as much as possible on the screen. So I usually try to keep it a little bit close to the left-hand side. Okay, in this notes area, we do have a tip here. It says, are you scrolling a lot to find a specific note? You can pin it to the top from the note properties. So you can pin notes to the top of the lists, both in notebooks and in your notes view. The right-hand side is the note interface. Okay, so we will start by creating our first note. Note title is at the top, so I'm going to click on that area. Our cursor starts blinking, and let's call this our first note. Okay, underneath that, we can add a tag. Quite frankly, I'm not that big of a user of tags, but that is possible. So I will show you how that looks. Add a tag, you click on it. And let's say this is, our tag is test. A pop-up comes up and it says create the test tag. Just going to click on that. And now over here in the middle section, several things have happened. We have a view of the tag or the note title, our first note. Underneath it, you can see that it's counting down of when it was created. So it was created 46 seconds ago, and it shows our tag as test. Above that, you have recent. You have some directional stuff here. And then above on this, underneath the notes section, it says back up your recovery key. Once again, this is something we'll touch on in a future video, so I'm not going to go into it here. So I'm just going to X that out, and we're just going to cancel that out. Okay, so next we go back to our first note. We've got our header, we've got our tag. Now underneath, start writing your note. So my cursor starts blinking, and I'm going to say this is a test note for optimizing Notesnook YouTube video. Exclamation. Okay, so basic text, nothing extremely fancy. If you'll go further down here at the bottom, there are 10 words. So it has counted how many words in the note. Shows that it was done on May 23rd at 2023 at 9:40 a.m. And then we can add other things to our note. I'm going to hit enter twice and just say, once again, this is a test. Hello, YouTube. All right, so now our navigation here at the top. We'll start at this very, well, the very top is up here. I'll go into that in just a moment. Your ribbon here, similar to Word and other documents that you can write on online. We have our directional stuff here. We have a plus sign. We will click on that. And they use blocks. So we can choose a different block to insert on this note. So say between this is a test note and once again this is a test note, we're going to click an open space and see the cursor is blinking. Going up to plus, let's add a task list. Okay, so now it has opened a new block, a new section, and if you will notice this little gray area here, this is where you can name what your task list is. So I'm going to click before untitled, my cursor starts blinking, and we will say this is called test task list. We have a checkbox here. We can write something beside it. Task 1. And if I hit enter, it starts another checkbox. Task 2. And I can also click on it. It drew a line through the task showing that it has been completed with a check mark. You'll also notice that the gray line here, because we had 2 tasks, 1/2 of that gray line filled in. So if I were to complete the second task, you'll watch this line here, this gray area, shows that it was completed 100%. This little direction here says move all checked tasks to bottom. So say if task 1, and you can also uncheck tasks if you notice. Say both of these tasks were unchecked, okay? We want to make sure that all checked tasks are moved to the bottom. I'm clicking on that. Now when I click task 1 and go back over to it, it moves that checked task to the bottom. It doesn't automatically do it for you. You actually have to tell it, the interface, to do it for you. So be sure you understand that. And then if I click task 2, once again, it shows that all of it was completed. Over here, task 2 of 2 was completed. Okay. Let's go back up to our plus sign here. Now we have an outline list. Quite frankly, I've never used that. So that's something that you can test out and look at. If underneath us, once again, this is a test, hello YouTube, I have a new line, my cursor is blinking, and I want to add a divider. I go up to the plus and click on horizontal rule, and now there's a divider line between this top section of the note and this bottom section. Okay, let's go back up to the plus area. We can insert code blocks. Notesnook allows you to use math and formulas and quotes. I've actually never used any of that either. If we want to insert an image, now let's check this out. Okay, so we have an open section down here. The cursor is blinking. I'm going to click on Image, Upload from Disk, and this is where we run into a new capability or a new offering from Notesnook. To add images, it would ask that you upgrade to Notesnook Pro. So everything that I've showed you before this has been the free version of Notesnook, which is still quite extensive. But to use additional functioning, it does want you to upgrade to Notesnook Pro, which is starting at $4.49 a month. That's actually not that bad. In the long run, Notesnook Pro is a much better deal for your money compared to, say, Evernote and some other note-taking apps. But as you see here, with the Pro version, you can attach files and images. There's encryption, high-quality images, unlimited storage, up to 500 megabytes per file. All file types are supported. No limit on notes. That is an amazing offering from Notesnook and its developers. You do have the option for reminders. Like I said, that is a beta test right now. You can publish to the internet, of course. Organizing your notes to have unlimited notebooks, colors, and tags. That is a Notesnook Pro offering that you would have to upgrade to. So anything on this little preview here that has the little crown that says Pro, that's where you would have to sign up for a paid account. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to the top. I'm going to click off of that. Okay, so we're back to our first note. We've clicked on an open section. We were at the image, but remember we can't upload an image until we were upgraded to Notesnook Pro. Our next choice is attachment. Once again, it is asking that you upgrade to Notesnook Pro. I highly recommend it if possible. We go back up to the plus section. We have an embed, and then we also have a table. If you are big on tables, maybe coming from Notion, and you like just a simple table view, you can also do this in Word as well. But within Notesnook, we can choose how many horizontal blocks we want for our table, as well as vertical. Let's say 4 by 4. And now if you can see this, right here, it did create a table. You can write at the top, you can put information at the bottom, etc., etc. Okay. So that is the plus area of choosing a block to insert. Now let's move on to the next part to the right of our ribbon. We have a bold section. So say if I want to bold this word, this, excuse me, there we go, this, changed green for me just to know that I had selected the word this. I can go to bold, and now it has bolded it, but it's actually staying the color green. That's interesting. Huh. Okay, so okay, there we go. It finally took the green away, so it does say this is in bold. So we bolded the word this. Say we want to change this into italics while keeping the bold. So I'm clicking on the I up here for italics. Changed it to italics. U is for underline. The 3 dots here gives you more selections of changing colors. Here's a strike through. If you'll notice now it has been struck through. I'm going to undo that. Now we can we can reset, we can reset the font size. So next we can, while this is bolded and highlighted at least, we can increase the size. I'm going to 22, 24, 25, 26, all the way up to, let's go to 40. So now we have 41. That's increased the size. Right now we have our setting as a paragraph, but say we want this bottom section here to show as a heading. Heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you go to 6, it really shrinks it all the way up to heading 1, which gave you a heading 1 header here above our table. You can change the font. So let's go back into bottom section, highlight it, and go. Right now we're showing sans serif. It only gives you a couple of choices. Here's what monospace looks like. Back to sans serif. That's what I use the most. And just a regular serif. None of this has changed, just the highlighted area that we changed that header into. Let's click on an open area of our note. We can add a numbered list. We can add bulleted lists. You hit enter, it creates another bullet. And then over here we have a link area. So say this bottom bullet, let's highlight it. We want to add a link, like a web link. You can enter the URL here and hit insert link, and then it will turn that into a clickable link with a URL. Okay, so that basically shows you most of what everything does on your note interface. Okay, so now we're moving to, I want to publish or share this note with someone. Look up here at the top, you have this cloud where it says publish. It says this, our first note, which is the name of the note, our first note will be published to a public URL. Do we want it to self-destruct? If I choose that, the note will stay active on the internet, and it can be unpublished or self-destruct after the first person views it. So if you're sharing it with more than one person, if several people need to visit this shared note, you don't want it to self-destruct after the first view. You would want it to only do so once it's been completely viewed by everybody. But if it's only one person, then you can have it to self-destruct. And do we want to password protect it? So if I choose this option, I can enter a password to encrypt this note when it's shared on the internet. So if I want to send this to person A and it's encrypted with a password, when person A gets the link to the note to view it, they have to have the password to sign in, otherwise they won't be able to view the note. So in a sense, you would have to share the link to the note and then let the person know, that person A, what the password is so they can access that note. And I'll show you what that looks like in a future video as well. We have a section here where we can disable the editor margins. We have a section here where you can do focus mode. And if you'll notice, when I clicked on the glasses for focus mode, everything on the side went away, and now we just have our note here in the middle. Gives you more real estate and what you can see on your screen. I'm going to undo that. So now we're back to our interface, our dashboard, our notes, and our main note area. We have a search area where we can find things within the note. We also have an undo section. So say down here that I had typed the letter A a bunch of times. If I go to this undo section, and click it once, it got rid of what I just typed with the A. Very handy. If that was a mistake and I want those A's to be back in there, I can go back to this and redo it, and now they reappear. So it's actively keeping track of what you're doing in the interface. We have a little 3-dotted section, and this gives you a lot more choices here. You can pin the note. Over here in this notes area, it shows pinned. Our first note is now pinned at the top. We can favorite that note. A little star now shows that it's favorited. We can lock that note, but that's only for Notesnook Pro members, so you can't take advantage of that right now. Read only. Now it is a read-only version. This comes in handy on, say, mobile, when you're just wanting to pull up the note, read it, and not really make any kind of edits. That really comes in handy. Disabling sync, I've never used that, so I don't really recommend that, but that's something you can read further into the frequently asked questions section of the website and see if that's right for you. And it does just give some more information of when the note was started and what time it is now. And that's it. I know that was a lot of information in about 20 minutes. I'm sorry for the long video, but that does give you a preview and an idea of what a note looks like in Notesnook. We've only scratched the surface, so I do appreciate you coming back for future videos. This is an exciting application, and I'm very glad to be able to share it with you. So once again, just thank you for spending some time with me here on optimizing Notesnook, and I will see you in a future video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.